Today's topic is parenting. This is going to be a very interesting one because I'm sure you heard it in the last podcast that we wish parenting was a little bit different, maybe a little bit more similar to what we had to go through as kids. And we actually have a parent on the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We got that man Black.
What's doing? I got two bad ones. Actually, I got one good one, one bad one. One boy, one girl. So if you hear me say he or she, that's what it is.
And that man ain't got no kids just yet, but we got that man Big Blue in the house.
Yeah, man.
And I definitely don't have any kids yet, so I will be speaking of points to where, you know, kind of what I would have wished I would have grown up knowing or would have done, you know, well, not as a kid, but what my parent would have done, you know, towards me or taught me to do something a certain way. But yeah, honestly, I don't mean to put you on the spot, Mr. Black, but let's get all that actual parenting out the way since you got that experience. I'll let you go on and start us off, bro. You know what? I have a question. What is the most challenging thing about parenting, in your opinion?
Just making sure they make the right decisions. Learning from pretty much your actions and what you instill in your child. You hope they make the right decisions in life. Like, I got a daughter. I'm hoping she doesn't get pregnant before, you know, she gets out of high school or while she's in school, period, or before she even finds her first career. I don't mind her having a boyfriend, but I hope she takes the actions or precaution if she was to have unprotected sex or something like that to either take a plan B. I'm not against that. Or at least have her partner wrap it up. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, I'm hoping for the latter, which is for her to just like girls, and I don't have to worry about
that. I dig it.
Did not see that coming.
And I honestly, I have a son, like I said, and for him, I would want him to, you know, not be out here living a double life, come home, be the good kid, go out in the street and be up here hustling underneath my nose. Which if I've learned anything, your kid is gonna be just like you, and all the little details in your life, like when you were a kid and shit you did in school, your kid's gonna do the exact same thing, and you're gonna be like, dude, I used to do this when I was your age. And then you're gonna sound like that parent. It just boils down. Like, I'll give you an example. My son was maybe in the second grade, and he started sneaking toys to school. Now, I used to do the same thing. I used to sneak my mom's Game Gear or my mom's Game Boy out the house, because I always had to say it was my mom's because it was hers. She never played it, but my mom had a strategy. Pretty much what it was is, I'm going to say it's mine. This way, if you take it out the house, you can't say it was yours to take out the house. And you stole my stuff, and I'm going to beat you behind for it. Can't do that these days. But, you know, still in all, I used to sneak out stuff, or I used to either stuff it in my book bag, at the bottom of my book bag, put it in my pants, take it to school, show it off, like, yeah, I got the new stuff. Well, my son thought he can do the same thing. The only thing is, once I found out he was doing it, I started doing pat downs before school, just like it was jail time.
Damn.
My son got so creative at a age. I think he was maybe 6 or 7 at the time.
How old is he now?
He's 11.
Okay.
And he's about to turn 12. And he's about to turn 12 in 3 days. So, but at this point, like I said, he was in second grade. He thought he was creative, and he was taking like Yu-Gi-Oh cards and Beyblades, and he would stuff them down his pants just to in his underwear. So when I do pat him down, it's like I'm not going to feel it. Well, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to just check anyway. Found these cards. I was like, you know you're going to punish when you get home.
Damn.
And hopefully, saying he learns from these lessons. Like, you can't outsmart me, but they're going to think outside the box. Any type of way, because when you're very young, you're very imaginative, you're very creative, and as you get older, you just used to the whole same mundane routine. It's just like you have a lack of creativity unless you're just one of those people. But yeah, it's just hoping my kids make the right decisions in life and take the right paths. That's what my most concern would be in life. And the most difficult part of parenting is to make sure that they do take care of themselves and others, and just be a good person all around. Now, am I saying my kids shouldn't fight? That's life. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta learn how to defend yourself. You gotta learn not to roll over and just let people do bad things to you without them, suffering some type of consequence, whether it's the legal way or the non-legal way, But that's to answer your question. Yeah, is hoping they make the right decisions in life.
I dig it. Okay, well, cool. Most definitely, man. Unfortunately, me and Blue, we probably won't be having kids anytime soon, but
nah.
At the very least, I want to I actually just made a list real quick. I wanted to talk about a couple of things I wish I would have learned, like, as a kid, and what my parents would have. And don't get me wrong, like, shout outs to my parents. Like, y'all did a very good job. As you can see, your boy has definitely came a long way. He's getting the message out. He's doing the damn thing. Thank you so much for that, first and foremost. I'm not even going to put y'all on blast, this podcast, so it's all good. But I wish I would have learned how to take better care of myself. Does that kind of make sense? Because I was always the guy, first of all, I was just like mega lazy as a kid. I didn't want to do like anything. And there was a period of time, I think we all go through like a phase to where we just straight up disrespect our parents and whatnot. But I wish I would have learned how to better take care of my body, as far as, like my whole face, my head, my hair, things of that nature, working out. Granted, I was pretty active as a kid, but it wasn't like on the focus of anything like that. Like, I was pretty much told to, and granted, I was pretty active. I went outside pretty much every other day, really. And that's how I met my homeboys, my friends, and my cousins were living with me at the time. And those were some good times, man. Back in Cleveland, Ohio, before I didn't even know what the hood was. I was just happy as a little kid, just running around, being on the bikes every once in a while and whatnot. But no, I wish I would have before I got this addiction into like video games and technology, which forces us to sit a lot and not breathe and look at screens all day. I wish my parents would have stepped in a little bit more, saying, hey, you need to balance out your life a little bit better, because as soon as I figured out about Ragnarok Online, that's an MMO, like an old school MMO RPG, it was a wrap, dude. Like, as soon as I stumbled onto the RPG genres, my life was done.
Tragic.
Boy, oh my god, the Tales of games and everything, man. But for those of y'all who don't know, especially when it comes to Japan's RPGs, they take forever to beat, dog. They take forever. But it's like, you don't want to be like a little baby, you don't want to feel defeated. You gotta beat this game. You gotta get the collectibles before you move on to the next one. But no, I wish I would have stuck with that. But I also wish half my day was video games, obviously school full time, and getting outside. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know, man, but it worked out, because I found out that I was very passionate about video games, technology, and art that way. So don't get me wrong, like, there was definitely some upsides to it, but my body suffered in the process. And even now at, age 25, I think it's finally catching up with me a little bit. I hate to admit it, but when people say they are getting older, bro, they are getting older. And I'm definitely getting older. And it, oh my God, it doesn't help at all that I have a desk job. I'm an office rat. So we literally get paid to sit there and type all day and talk to people. But if I would have, I think if I would have had that balance just growing up, I would have known to, take walk breaks, maybe look at the screen, look away from the screen for, 10, 15 minutes at a time. But I just didn't grow up like that. And I think now I'm finally suffering, because it's not necessarily pain, like, in my back or whatever, but it's more like discomfort. Like, I feel like it could be huh?
It's scoliosis. It's okay.
Well, yeah, that too. It's pretty much a degree of scoliosis that's developing. It's definitely taking some time to, just like any other scoliosis, it takes time to get up to a certain point, unless you're, genetically born with it. Duh. But no, man, I just wish I would have focused more on that a little bit better. And just to kind of piggyback off of what I said about keeping my body as healthy as possible with balance when it came to like video gaming, I wish I would have ate a lot better as well. Because as a kid, I didn't eat anything, especially vegetables. Oh my God, it was snacks all day, y'all.
Vegetables, the hell of vegetables.
Right? What is that green stuff? I don't want any of that on my plate, or I'm not eating at all. But those things definitely, man. I wish I would have learned how to take care of my body a little bit better. I felt like my parents could have played a better role in that as well, because just like you said, Black, it's kind of like you're pretty much the small versions of your parents. You know what I'm saying? You're just like a reflection of them, whether we like it or not. But my parents, they didn't eat the best, and they didn't take care of their bodies as much as they could have. And I think it's just now not blaming them, but I think it's kind of like trickling down, because obviously my family wasn't used to a lot of fitness, and like a lot of my family, they would sit around just watching TV all day, and they would eat their meals. I was like very picky as a kid, especially when it came to vegetables. So they probably did a way better job than, I guess, eating well for their bodies than I have. Because, bruh, if my lunch and dinner was hot Cheetos, fruit roll-ups, Airheads, you know what I'm saying, Gatorade. So those were some good times, bro. But yeah, man. Oh, one more thing I want to throw in there real quick. I do have a whole list, but I'm only gonna read like a couple of them because I know it's definitely gonna take some time. And this is why I'm mad at Blue in particular.
What?
All right.
Come on.
I wish my parents would have pushed me a little bit more to study an art growing up in school, such as like music. Sure. Especially music, man, because it not only brings out your creative side, it teaches you about discipline too, because you were on a routine at that point. Like, you had to practice. I mean, you had no choice to practice. You went to school to play and learn music, and whether you wanted to do it after school or not, I guess you had to, because I mean, ultimately everybody's parent wants their kid to be in like a band or like play in something. So yeah, the practice would have been real, and I think that would have taught me better discipline on how to achieve my goals a little bit better as well, because I would have been used to doing it over and over and over again, just getting into the practice of practicing per se. So I think that would have kept my head on a little bit straighter. I mean, I'm in the right direction now, especially with the like YouTube and podcast thing. That's not slowing down. That's gonna be consistent. But if I would have learned, like, studied music back in the day, I think that would have gave me a jump on what it really meant to stay consistent, because it would have translated into different areas of my life as well. So, But yeah, like I said, I gotta listen. I'm not gonna read the whole thing because I'm gonna ramble on each and every single topic. But yeah, I'm gonna go on and pass the mic off to Blue, man. What you got to say to the people, man? Or if you want to throw out some parenting tips, man. We know you ain't a parent right now, but if you want to make some of our parents better, feel free.
Bro, these fucking parents out here, man. I'm trying to keep my mouth calm, but these parents be getting on my last damn nerves with their kids. And like here's the thing. Here's the thing. For me, like, y'all don't know this, but Mateos know this. Joey knows this for a fact. I don't like children. I really don't. If there's anything in this world that comes close to hate, it's children. And I'm going to explain why. The reason I don't like children is because the way that they think, how young they are, and how innocent that they don't know any better, and they won't know any better unless they're taught. That's what pisses me off.
It's not that you really hate. Sorry to interject, but it's not that you really hate kids. You just hate other people's kids because you can't beat them.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, I didn't want to say it, but you know, since you brought it up, pretty much exactly. It's like the way that children are. It's when they act a certain way, you can tell that you know, like a good beating would have set them straight, and they would have stopped doing it, or at least like a good talking to, like, stern voice, or like you know, just something, not sitting here like smacking them around the house or like beating over like freaking broken bottle caps and shit like that.
Yeah,
but like
please, Timmy, stop being bad or I'm gonna get upset.
Like, come on, let them know that you are the adult and that they need to listen to you anytime you do anything. And the thing is, with children, it's going to take time. It's not going to happen off of day one. So that I understand. It's going to take time before a child gets it. But when it comes to like children that just lack that discipline, it pisses me off because I can't get upset with you because of the way that you are. That's like if I was getting upset for like a friend of mine or just some random person on the street that's just doing some stupid crap, like, I don't know, voting for Trump without no real reason. I'm gonna get upset with you because you're just a freaking idiot. But when it comes to children, I can't do that with them because they don't know any better, and that pisses me off so much. Which is why anytime I see a kid, I'm just like, I don't like you, get away from me, leave me alone. But for some reason, it's like that attracts them, and they just keep on climbing on me, and I'm just like, I can't even push you off because if you fall and you start crying, I'm gonna want to help you out. I honestly love children more than, I don't know anybody that loves children more than I do, but I just can't deal with, like, it just really pisses me off how much, how innocent and how much they don't know the things that they do. That pisses me off.
Right. So
with that being said, when it comes to disciplining your kid, I don't care what nobody said. Like, all these childhood, like child life and like social and psychologists and like freaking what do you call those? The people that take your kids when you do drugs and shit like that.
All right, so you got GFAC, CPS.
There we go. Yeah. Yeah. All them niggas. All them niggas. Like, those people would probably be like, yeah, don't beat your kids. It's bad to beat your kids and stuff like that. And they actually put in the books. Like, my girlfriend, she's a child, a child life major, I think, or something like that. And in the books, they say that beating your kids is bad. The Bible says beat your damn kids or they will come out stupid. Literally. They didn't say stupid, but it says discipline your child with a rod so that they can or they will I don't know, something about folly. And folly is pretty much just being foolish period. Right. It literally says that in Proverbs. I'm pretty sure it says it twice in Proverbs. You have to beat your kids or else they're not going to learn. Or you have to discipline them in some type of way. They have to get some type of physical punishment. It doesn't have to be, breaking their arm or lashing them until they bleed, but something when they do something wrong so that they know this is wrong. Don't do it or else I'm going to hurt you. Right. And that's all it is. I mean,
they actually, I don't mean to interrupt as well, Blue, but they keep coming out with these laws that's like making it illegal to like beat your children,
To, like,
and
do yeah, exactly.
I'm over here in the sidelines like. What type of beating are y'all doing? Because all I got was spankings, and I came out perfectly fine.
Right.
Like, I'm guessing some parents are like literally like crucifying their kids or something. Somebody's ruined it for somebody.
Some crap like that. I don't know. I mean, there was one time, I don't know what was going on, but there was like a video that I was watching where a guy, he had a babysitter, or yeah, while him and his wife were out on some nights, they'd get a babysitter, and then I think he saw like some bruises or something on his kid or something like that. And then he got cameras inside his house. Then when he had the night vision on, he literally like saw the babysitter lifting the baby up and like slamming him on the bed because it was crying and stuff like that. I was like, all right, that's just batshit crazy. First off, I don't like that's just way out of the line. But when it comes to like this, like for example, I was in such like in awe and astonishment and like I had to applaud one of my customers. This happened on Saturday while I was at work, and I was on the phone with the lady, and then I guess her daughter. It was a Saturday morning, and her daughter didn't want to, or she was being lazy and like just wanted the iPad and like just watch, I guess, whatever show that they had on the iPad or whatever. And her mother took the iPad from her. And she said it with a stern voice, but she wasn't yelling, because when you yell at children, it's like they block you off and they don't listen to you. I mean, it happens with a lot of adults now. When you start yelling at somebody, they just get in defense mode and then they just stop listening. She said it with a strong voice, but without yelling, telling the child, this isn't like this isn't Johnny's house, or this isn't Fred's house, or whoever the hell she said it was. Your friend's parents may allow them to do whatever on the Saturday morning, but you ain't gonna do this in my house. This is my house. You have stuff that you need to do. You have stuff that you need to clean, and you need to clean them because it's a Saturday morning, and you're going to do what I asked you to do. And she took the iPad. The kid started crying, and she said, "You keep crying, I'm going to beat you." And she stopped crying. And I sat there, and I was like, you know what? I applaud you, ma'am, because that is some like legit disciplining of your child, and I have not seen that in a very long time.
Since we were kids.
Thank you. Exactly. Like, it was just amazing to me. And she was just like, I mean, you gotta make sure these kids are straight, because all they want to do is just sit on their devices and just, you know, and just be lazy. And I was like, I'm glad you know that. And that's one thing that I definitely don't want to do when it comes to my kids whenever I do have kids. One, just same thing like Black. I want them to make the right decisions. Two, which is going to be difficult because, I mean, however they grow up, it's just how they grow up. Two, I don't want them to be in an environment that'll impact them negatively. But I can't say that because, I mean, just based on the different environments that I've seen people grow up in, I've seen people grow up in a negative environment and it comes out for the better for them later on. But that's just like, it's just like gambling, more or less, to me. And I don't like gambling because my luck sucks and I always lose. So, I mean, that's just another thing that worries me when it comes about kids. And the third thing is, I forgot what it was.
Well, while you're trying to remember,
go ahead.
Proverbs 23 verse 13. Do not withhold discipline from the child.
Yes.
If you punish them with the rod, they will not die.
There we go. Yes.
Hey.
Exactly.
Bible verses on deck.
The Bible says this. Come on. Like, I understand that you got your books and this is a new day and age. No, if your kids are acting up and they are being bad, you need to show them they need to stop being bad. Like, it's just as simple as that. Like, when I was younger, I got beat. I'm not gonna sit here and lie and act like I'm the best kid. I sure wasn't the best kid. I stole so much shit and I lied so many times, and everybody thought I was just a good child to begin with. But you know, times was tough. I needed to get stuff. Well, in order to get the things that I wanted, Sometimes I had to steal, sometimes I had to lie, and I did. Did I get caught sometimes? Yeah, I did, and I got beat for it. Eventually, I stopped stealing. Were there times where I did get beat for reasons that I probably shouldn't have gotten beat? Yeah, because for a time period, my dad, he did, he did was like every time he came home, he was just always upset, and then just always drinking in the basement, and then anytime I did something wrong, I would get a beat for it. Would you call that abuse? Yeah, probably, but that was in the past, and it helped me be who I am today. And like Black said, it just like I I see myself like him, but because of the way that he treated me when I was younger, I averted from some of those aspects, some of those features that I know is within me. I realize it before it comes out so that I can stop it from happening.
Right.
And but yeah, when it just comes to the discipline, you have to discipline your child, or else they're just gonna be wild and crazy. Like
Right.
they're just not gonna know what to do with their lives and act irrationally, make ridiculous decisions, and just I don't know. It's a lot.
Yeah,
To
bro.
piggyback off for what you said earlier about uh man, I just had it.
What, the Bible
These
verse?
parents are the not the Bible verse, but more of the DIFUS and
Hmm.
uh, CPS and DFACS out here for Georgia.
Yeah,
It's in the books that these people write, right? Telling you don't beat your kids and stuff like that. Um, it's ironic that they say that because they get a whooping. I mean, they've gotten whoopings and they're talking from experiences, but they became better people. If you're actually out here writing books and stuff like that, you actually made the right decision, right choices. You're setting up these parents for failure. You setting up these
exactly,
parents. You setting up these kids to be soft, and these parents to be
exactly,
soft. Oh, I did. I got beatings. I didn't like it. I'm not whooping my kids. Guess what? I'm glad you think in that manner. I'm pretty sure you're a good person for not doing that. But guess what? Those whoopings got you to that point. Now, if
exactly,
your parents did not whoop you, then you'll be out of control. You probably be out here doing God knows what, from drugs to robbing people, from stealing. I mean, I watch YouTube a lot. I mean, a lot. And
Hmm.
all I see is these kids that like the things that people think is funny is these kids that's either up here uh cursing in videos or disrespecting somebody. I saw two kids have a grown man argument the other day on YouTube, and they're
Wow.
cursing each other out, and they're talking about each other like it's nothing. Now I understand jokes we used to call what was called hiking, or hiking on people, where you know a you know your mom smells like hot dog water, or some shit like that.
Yeah, joning on them.
Jonesing on them. That's what y'all call it out here, but back in Jersey it was called hiking on somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So um you know, that's okay. You know what I'm saying? You getting little jokes out, and it was all play fun and good. But these kids out here, like, I'm watching videos that are trending, that are popular. These kids just being mad disrespectful, and you expect your kid to not go to jail in life. I watch things. I watch things that concern me as a parent about not my kid but other kids.
Exactly.
And this is where I was getting at, like with the media. The media
Mhm.
plays a part in this too, because the media puts it out there that, yeah, we want, um let's say, music or the news topics. uh a lot of stuff that goes out there is about what goes down on social media. And with music, it's like, all right, I understand it's being creative and stuff like that. And I'm not no, I'm the furthest thing from SJW, and I'm not really want to get into that type of politics. But um, honestly, the rap music, I understand it's about street life, but it should be like the ESRB for video games, and it should be taken a little bit more seriously. When I say my kids should not be listening to certain rap songs, and if they do, they need to have the old school clean versions of them, not just the leave it up into your term interpretation. Like I give you an example. One of Eminem's albums. I really forgot which one it was. Actually, you can count on maybe the first 3 Eminem albums. The radio play, I used to listen to all his shit on the radio, and next thing you know, it was like I finally got his CD, uncensored CD. And I'm just like, I'm singing along, and I hear a completely different verse, like purple pills and purple hills. Like I'm singing blue and yellow, purple hills, and then I was like, hold on, what is this? And the same thing when I first heard 50 Cent. I don't know what Dr. Dre be doing over there when he tell him to clean it up. He really means clean it up, because like 50 Cent's in the club. If you listen to the radio play of that song, and you listen to the actual unedited version of that song, it's like 2 completely different songs. It gives it a whole new meaning. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I mean, like I said, that's okay. When you talking about street life, and I got bandos, and I got making work in the house and shit. I mean, stuff like that. I keep forgetting you got younger viewers, but it's
all good, bro.
Stuff like that. I'm just like, it's not for them. Kids out here. I used to work at GameStop for about 6 months. I got tired of that real quick, but I see parents come in there with their kids talking about, I want Call of Duty. I'm like, are you old enough for Call of Duty? I'm not jerk kids don't like behind the counter, because I'm like, this is not rated for your kids, right? I'm like, exactly. I just want you to know, like, we got a bunch of other selections that's E for everybody, but this game has a lot of violence and stuff in there, and that's me coming as a parent, and I was working there while I was a parent with my before my daughter was born. So it was just one of those things where you're like, how do I say it? It's like everybody is just a little too soft with parenting right now, which are making your kids soft, or in the opposite effect, putting them into a disrespectful state because you're not telling them right from wrong. You can tell it to them all blue in the face, but what kid actually listens? It goes in one ear and out the other. I know everybody's heard that expression, but if you ain't putting them behind it, what I'm saying, what makes it, I mean, with every action causes a reaction. Like if you decide to steal a car and you get caught, guess what? You're going to jail. Mm-hmm. You get punishment. But I can't whoop my kids. And it's another thing, just one other thing that I've noticed as a parent. The government, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, the government actually sets us up for failure. And they set us, as in black men, because that's what I am. It sets me and my kids up for failure, because the way they run.
What gives you that idea? Here in America? No way.
Yeah. The way they run these prison systems, and they have to have 100% occupancy. And it all trickles back to the 80s. In the 80s, in order for a woman to get welfare, they had to not have a man in the house, or they weren't classified for that. Then they had to put them on some type of child support. And then the I hate that part. But the stupid thing is, when they put a man on child support, they take his license. 2 things happen: either you go to jail, or they take your license away. Now, if you work a job to where you're driving around and, saying you love your kid, you do everything for your kid, you're making a better living for not just yourself, but for the kid, they take your license away in a job where you have to drive around, it kind of separates, puts you in a predicament to like, how the hell am I going to do my job that pays the bills, or pays the rears, or pays whatever for me to get out of the situation, and you just took my only means away. And then now you're going to put me in jail and then make my rears a lot higher. It's just a vicious cycle. And then from that vicious cycle, I can't be there for my kid to guide him in right and wrong. And his mom is probably not doing the best herself, so she's probably living in Section 8. Not saying all moms do, but she's either living on Section 8 or living in an impoverished area or living in or a chateau with some dude that's probably taking care of her. Now I got my son worried, or son or daughter worried about, this person that's living with mommy now. And I got to worry about that too. Mm-hmm. Like I said, this all comes, it's like a big circle. And I know I'm trying to get right back to the beginning part where I said it all trickles down back to the government, which is having us in this cycle. They tell us that the moms can't discipline their kids because they're unruly and out of control, and they don't have a father figure in their life. Now, it sets them kids up to be bad kids or kids that aren't disciplined and go out here and start doing these reckless things. And guess what? My son is going to be in the same jail cell I'm sitting in, or probably or right next to me, because one, I'm in for a child support, and two, he's in for a crime that he shouldn't have committed in the first place because I wasn't there.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, it is like well, in that instance, it is like a giant, like, effect, like a cause and effect kind of thing, a giant circle. What? Yeah, I'll be completely honest with you, bro. I'm not on that level yet, and I did understand where you were coming from, but yeah, I never actually thought of it that way, but
yeah. The opposite effect happens too when you spoil a child and they think everything is given to them. Mm-hmm. They don't know how to take care of themselves. They start slumming it. Hey, I really don't know what to do. So the only other means is there's no work out here for me. There's nothing for me to really accomplish and getting money other than going out here and robbing somebody real quick, and maybe I'll get a job here in the future. But guess what? You got caught up. Now you're in jail.
And on that note, just to sprinkle in a little extra, that's probably the worst thing you can absolutely do is spoiling your children, especially when you know they're doing wrong. You're rewarding them for being bad. You know what I'm saying? And being disobedient and whatnot. I'll never understand that ever. And it makes them soft too, because what if something happens to the parent? Then what? You know what I'm saying? It's like the kid is just gonna be screwed, and I feel bad for him.
Yeah, it's interesting because like I was mentioning before, like just growing up with my pops, it wasn't the most easiest thing, and like his presence really made my life difficult, so I had to find ways to live around that, and that kind of made me like a pretty stone cold dude in certain situations. I ain't no freaking iceberg like Black over here, but like it made me numb to certain situations, like certain things that certain people say to me I don't care about. People can't hurt my feelings at all. And it's very hard to make me upset or put me in a situation where I feel bad about myself, whatever the case may be. Like it's hard to hurt me because because of like there's nobody that could have hurt me more in my life than my father did. And still on that note, even then, like even with my mother, like it was still like she was very hard on me. She never really held my hand on anything that I did. Well, they didn't really help me much with anything I did anyways. But it was like a lot of things that I had to do myself. And I didn't really have much help. My parents pretty much did like the bare minimum. Clothed me, made sure I had somewhere to live, and took me to school, church, and whatnot. And I mean, which is good because obviously it got me to where I am today. But that was like the most assistance that I ever got. I never had help in my home. or to study, which ended up me not studying at all. And like I was always expected to know how to do things without, being taught how to do it. And then I'd more or less get punished or ridiculed for not knowing. And it just got me to the point. Did that have negative impact on me? Yeah, it did a lot. But at the same time, like in certain situations, again, I'm not as easily shooken or willing to give up or sit down and cry about it like some people are. Like we was talking about before in previous podcasts, about giving about parents wanting to give their child the what do you call that ribbon, the participation ribbon bullshit. Yeah, if I came home with that
Oh
crap,
no.
man, my parents it made fun of me until the end of time. If I came home with that junk, like it wasn't no participation. Like every time I got it, I threw that crap out because I knew that you're pretty much just telling me that I suck. And that was because when I came home, my parents would pretty much tell me that, yo, you suck. What the hell is this? Get that out of my face. And it,
Shit motivates you to do better. Them participation awards not allowed in my house.
Yeah.
yeah, pretty much. Like it, and it's unfortunate because a lot of, like we was mentioning before, like a lot of parents do want to, oh, we got to make sure that it's fair. Just want the kids to have fun and stuff like that. Like I think there was one situation where my girlfriend was at her niece's field day, and mind you, they're in elementary school and stuff like that. And when I was in elementary school, there was field day and there was fun day.
Mhm.
Fun day is when you have fun. Field day was competitive day,
Yes.
which is why I hated field day, because there was always those with the braids that was always faster and stronger than I was.
I don't know about that. My team was
Bro.
always on point.
Man,
He was a part of that team. That's why, Blue.
Oh, he probably would.
Bro.
But yeah, so when it came to the whole participation thing, like it was just whatever. But when I was on the phone with my girlfriend while she was, at the field day, like they were saying how they need to make this fair for all the kids and stuff like that, and I'm just like, no, they're given rules, they're told what to do, and they go do them. If they fail, they fail. That's point blank. If they don't win, they don't win. That's the whole point of field day. Now, when they have fun day, then they go have. And fun day was usually either a couple of days or a week after field day, so that they can enjoy after getting their asses beat by their other classmates. And that was absolutely fine. But it seems like nowadays parents are just too much on the whole. Oh, I don't want my son to feel bad and stuff like that. No, this is life. You probably should not teach kids when they're young certain things, but when it comes to like failing at something that they can obviously get better at with just time, like most of the people, I mean, hell, the kids that always beat my ass in like the running events or whatever physical thing we had to do, that's because they were football players as well. I wasn't no damn football player. I was given the Nintendo when I was 5 years old. That was my best friend until like now.
Heck
but
yeah.
but yeah, so that was just something that they were just naturally good at because their parents put them in football when they were young, so they were just naturally bigger and stronger than I was. It's just point blank period. Of course I was going to lose. And so it was either I get better or I just don't even worry about it. I tried to get better, it failed, but that only helped me progress later on. Anytime I wanted to do something, I just continue to try to get better at it. Now, as opposed to nowadays, it's like people are just like rewarding their kids every time when they do something good and still rewarding their kids even though they fail. A lot of times in life, when you fail, it's going to suck. Even when you succeed, it may just be enough to like keep you from failing. And like the reward may just be, your reward is not having something bad happen to you. That's happened a lot to me in my life, to I'm now at the point where anytime something bad happens to me, I'm just like, all right, so how am I going to get through this situation? And anytime something good happens to me, I'm like, all right, cool, that's what's up. But I'm like never like too overjoyed about it because I mean, I don't know, it's just that's just how I am. And I know a lot of people that just isn't like that. Like my girlfriend, for instance, like her parents they just love spoiling the kids and like helping them out with every little thing. You can't do that with your children. They got to learn sometime. And even with like, I'm talking a lot, but this is the last point I wanted to make. Even when like some of my relatives, and I hope that they don't watch this because they're probably gonna get on my ass.
Hey, I'm gonna share it to them first. It's all good.
Chill. But like some of my relatives around my age, their parents like spoil them. They let them do what they want, and like there really was like there was discipline because I recall seeing the discipline when we were all younger.
Mm-hmm.
But once we reached that age, like high school, the discipline stopped. And I mean, even when you're in high school, yeah, you're dealing with teenagers, but it's like when we all got to high school, they would start talking back to their parents and like disrespecting them and you know, just still doing all the things that they were doing before, regardless of what their parents told them. And they would just back off and like act like, you know, and be like, oh, all right, well, you do what you want. Pretty much just giving up at that point. And it's impacted them negatively because now most of them haven't finished school or even started school. Most of them are still living in their parents' house. Now, granted, I'm still living in my parents' house, but I have goals. I have goals that I'm working on to achieve. Could I have been in a better situation had I made better decisions? Yeah, of course. But I realize that, and I'm working to get to get out of here. I still know dudes that are. I mean, I still have relatives that are still living in their parents' house. I have older relatives that are still living in their parents' house and don't plan on leaving their parents' house. Granted, they're living in New Jersey and it's expensive as hell to live by yourself. But they literally had no means, they had no plans of leaving at all. Or like doing anything with their lives besides whatever it is that they're doing at the time. And like the media shows, just going to the clubs, picking up women, and like drinking and having a ball all the time. And as we all know, that's not how life is. And that parenting really has a big impact on the child. You really have to discipline your child and, you know, give them an idea of right and wrong. Let them learn that life isn't always going to give you a reward anytime you do something good. And let them know that shit will hit the fan if you fuck up.
Yeah, definitely, bro. I agree with a lot of that, man. And
So do I.
What's up, Black?
I said so do I.
I
agree with that.
No, you're good, man. But yeah, man, it's definitely, your kids are definitely going to be a reflection because you're going to be influencing them the most throughout their entire lives, and eventually they'll begin to grow to build their own personality and whatnot throughout later in life. And I just want to add on to what you were saying, Blue. That's a bad sign for any human being, whether it's towards a friend, another family member, or even like a pet or something like that. But as soon as especially a relationship. But if whoever you kind of look up to, or your mentor or parent or whatever the case may be, if they give up on you, if they get to a point to where they just stop, either disciplining you or fighting for you.
It just seems like they just doing. Yeah, exactly. It seems like they stop fighting.
That's bad. Like it that's the most. It'll hit you in the heart as soon as you don't get anything out of that person at all, bro. Like it's a snack rabbit. But I say that to say, I just wanted to add on to my the last list, the bullet list I had here was I wish I would have had better exposure to like different types of people growing up, because granted I do talk to a lot of people now, which is great, but I think I think I learned that on my own, because again, just like in the last podcast, I'm usually keeping to myself, but I don't have a problem with talking to people. But no, even as a kid, I wish I would have been in different environments and situations that would have taught me a little bit more about life and who I really was, kind of like what you said, Blue, about, well, Black and Blue, y'all both said it, about growing up and living in a certain environment, you know, something that'll help craft you into the type of person you'll eventually become. And, you know, I wish I would have had the chance. Granted, you know, we were just growing up and being in school and whatnot, so I really didn't have any time to experience those types of stuff. But I would have loved being in, like, you know, like the straight hood or ghetto, or even in like a rich, wealthy neighborhood, and just to see what life is like a little bit outside my own, like, comfort zone. Granted, I grew up pretty good. I was a single kid or whatever. You know, there were times where we were poor, and there were times where we were able to fend for ourselves, and, you know, we had money. And especially before the economy crashed, but more on that later. But no, definitely, man. It's just being around certain people just gives you that edge on how to better yourself and live your life to the fullest, because you'll be prepared for failure. You'll be prepared, and that's the best. Like, side note, that's the best teacher ever. Speaking of participation trophies, the best teacher is failure. I don't care what anyone has to say. Like, if you lose, I mean, you don't really lose. You know, you either win or you learn. That's all it is. Like, I'll give you an example. This whole YouTube thing, I've been learning the whole time. I'm still learning. Like, to this day, it's probably going on 2 to 3 years now, or 2 or 2.5 years rather. And just, like, look at my views and subs. Like, I'm at the point to where I'm treating it like I only have 1 subscriber and only 1 view. That's the way I see it now, because, well, number one, it won't disappoint me and keep me down and whatnot anymore, but I'm learning from it. My channel is growing. You know, I never thought in a million years I would be giving advice to people such as yourself. You know, giving out life pro tips and helping the community grow into getting a better country, you know what I'm saying? Like, especially when it comes to the corporate America type subjects we talk about. Like, I never thought in a million years that we would have the ability to kind of show the people what's really going on and how we can learn from it and become better overall as people. You know what I'm saying? And my editing, I've been learning some different, like, new editing tactics and tricks and stuff like that. That's going to be on another video that's coming out, Blue. I'm going to need your help on that one, actually, but more on that later. But anyway, the point I'm trying to get across is you are definitely defined by literally everything, but especially your parents. The parents have got to be on their P's and Q's. They have to be there for their children, or good or bad things might happen. But anyway,
I just want to add on to that, the whole participation award.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I usually, y'all made me remember this analogy that I gave my wife at one point about this whole participation award, and I told her it was like this: imagine you in a fight, just you and one other person. You get your ass beat, and somebody comes up to you with a participation award, talking about, here you go.
Congratulations!
Feel like you won something.
Oh man,
that's if anything, that would get me personally. That would put me even lower as a human being, bro. Cause it's like you're already embarrassed. Like, how much lower can you go? Well, here's a trophy for getting your ass kicked.
There's winners. What it boils down to is winners, and then there's losers. And, you know what I'm saying, in life, there are going to be some winners. Those are the ones that, you know, they start their own business. You know, I'm not saying everybody else is losers, but
hey, you win or you learn. All right.
Yeah, that's pretty much it is. Yeah, you win or you learn from your mistakes and you try to do better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know if I get my ass beat enough times, I'm going to the gym, or I need to stop picking fights.
Hell yeah. Yeah, you either need to start working out, stop picking fights, or learn some martial arts. Heck yeah, man. Heck yes.
Definitely a big thing. One more thing I wanted to mention that it kind of saddens my heart. That I realized a lot of the times, I mean, this still kind of goes out to like my relatives um, that's back in Jersey, you know, trying to make it out there and all that good stuff. Um, the way that the system is, I mean, not even just for black people, because I mean, I know some white people that are still struggling out there. Not a lot, but you know, a couple of them. So it's just about for anybody. It really like like just it really matters how much the parents are in the child's life, because you like if both your parents are working all the time, then it's like there's going to be so much negativity outside of your house, unless your house is just negative, but that's a different story. Like just everything that your child learns out in the world, out in school, you have no control over. And if you're not, and then the time that they have with you, if the time that they could have with you, but you're not there, then you're just setting them up for failure straight up. I mean, like, like my dad, he was home when he came home, like he wasn't there. He'd either watch TV or go in the basement and drink, and then if it wasn't either of those two things, he was either yelling at my mom or yelling or beating on me. I wouldn't say beating on me all the time, but he was yelling or yelling at me for whatever the hell the case may be. And when it came to my mom, I mean, she just had a lot of stuff to deal with at the time, so she was always at work. And then when she came home, she was either cooking, cleaning, or sleep, or yelling at me because of something that I did, and then tell my father so that he can yell at me some more. And yeah, that was pretty much like all it was when I was younger. Like when it comes to like video games, I cherish video games a lot because that was my happy place when I was younger, when I was at home. That like my video games, my younger sister, and just being outside. Those were my happy places. When I was inside the house and I wasn't playing my video games, or I wasn't, you know, being bothered by my little sister, it normally wasn't good. But luckily enough, and I thank God for this, I managed to come out for the positive out of all of that. I know a lot of people whose parents are barely home because they gotta work. It's not even like a choice that they have. They gotta work so that they could put food on the table and pay bills. So they're not home. They can't be home, and it ultimately impacts the kid negatively because their parent isn't there to be there with them to guide them as they grow and to discipline them. And like it hurts my heart a lot of times because I do know some of my relatives, some of my aunts or whatever, that are just still working the same job that they've been working and like barely home, and like only have a couple hours before they got to go to, you know, their next job or whatever. And I think about it and I'm like, you know what, you never were really home to really do much to watch for your kid. And now I understand, like, I mean, you should never give up on your kids. That's one thing. Like from the jump, you should never give up on your kids. But like when you have a lot of stuff that just weighs against you, and it's like you think that like you just had that mentality that you're doing all that you can, but it doesn't seem like anything like none of it is worth it because your kid still ends up bad in the end. That's really like every time I think about it, it's tough for me to take in. Because it's like you're doing so much for, like, you're trying to do the best that you can, but it still doesn't seem like it's enough. Or it still doesn't seem like your kid understands and, you know, takes in that gratitude and, you know, tries to do something with it. And, like, I feel that way towards my father. I mean, yeah, things were rough, but he still went to work and did what he had to do to keep us afloat. But based on the way that I lived growing up with him, it was just so much negativity that it got to a point where now I could care less if he's around me or not. That doesn't mean I don't love the guy, but like his presence just sometimes irks my nerves. And that's just my relationship with him. Do I want it to be like that? No, but that's years and years of bad history that, I mean, I still got scars on my, not literal scars on my back, but like metaphorical scars on my back from the stuff that he would tell me, or that he would tell me that, you know, has negatively impacted me to this day. But did he intend for things like that to happen? I'm pretty sure that he didn't. Did he want me to be at this point where you know, graduated from school and, you know, having a job and stuff like that and working towards, you know, being my own man? Yeah, he did. But everything else that negatively came with it probably wasn't in his plan. But it happened. And it's affecting the way that my relationship is with him. I
I got a
mean,
question. I
yeah,
got a question for you. Are you the oldest?
no, I have an
How
older
many other
sister.
siblings do you got?
I have an older sister. I have two full bloods and one half blood. Older sister, younger sister, and then my half blood younger brother. He's a senior in high school. He's 17. He's about to turn 18. My younger
So you're
sister.
the first male. You're the first
Yeah.
male in the family.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, and he doesn't treat your sister any different, or does he treat her differently?
He treats my little sister differently. Yes.
The
That's
older
his little. Oh, the older one. Yes, it was. I want to say that it was a lot harder on her because she was the first child, and you know, she was just given so much expectations, especially like us being Haitian, and you know, my parents coming in from Haiti and stuff like that, and my dad actually getting an education and stuff like that, and like they were just real, like Haitians when they come from America, they're real negative people, especially towards their kids. And um like just growing up, like Shirley never, my older sister Shirley, she never did anything wrong compared to the stuff that I did. To in my eyes, she never did anything wrong. Like all the negative things that, or all the bad things that I did, I never learned it from her. She was always the one that was correcting me for all the bad things that I did. But for some reason, she was always getting yelled at. And there would be times where I would see her crying because of something that my father told her or said to her, some negative thing that my parents would try to do to her. Anytime she would try to do something like outside of watching me and Natalie endure her homework, she just get ridiculed for it and all that stuff. So ultimately, yes, my older sister did have it worse than I did. But because I was the male and the first male in the house, I feel like that had more, like, I have more, I want to say more backlash, but that was kind of where me and her had the same type of negative impact with our parents, because it was always dropped down on me. Like I was saying before, how I was always expected to do things that I didn't even know was a thing in the first place. Or, you know, when you're a child, you don't think that, oh yeah, let me find out how to change an oil or change a tire, or, you know, how to I don't know, mow the lawn or some shit like that, or just things that you just don't think of when you're younger. And I was expected to do those things, and then when I didn't do them, I was verbally abused, because in their words, it was always because I'm not a man. And even nowadays, when my mom would say that, it would, like, I kid you not, I turned to Hulk for like half a second, because it would just enrage me every time when she'd say that, just because of that, you know, just because of that scar that's just on my back because of that. But yeah, it was really tough. But at the end of the day, both my parents was in our lives, and I guess compared to like other my other relatives, they would sometimes, like, some of them have one parent and some of them have both parents, but both of them was just working so much that they were always at another relative's house who also had only one parent, and then, you know, it wasn't their parent, so it's like they didn't really have to listen to, or they felt like they didn't have to listen to them. And Oh, like it was like it's a lot of stuff when I think about it. It's really a lot.
Uh, I thought you were probably the oldest in the house. I know as a father, I have high expectations for my son who was born first,
Right.
and I mean, people handle their things a different way. I know you heard of being machismo or just being that tough guy.
Yeah.
You see it in TV shows where the dad doesn't say "I love you," but you know he loves you.
Right.
He might not be there because he's working to make sure you got everything. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? But then all that work and stuff like that, I mean, stress from work, not excusing anything, but like I said, all that stress from work and stuff like that, it does happen to, boil over, and you happen to be unfortunate of being possibly the outlet for that. You know what I'm saying? Does he want the worst for you? I don't think so.
Right.
But I honestly I believe, looking at it towards what I would want for my son, uh again, I don't want you to be like me. I understand we got a lot of DNA, in us that you're gonna get some of my traits, but don't be me. I want you to be better than me. You know what I'm saying? All the stuff that you see is coming out of me, all the negativity, I hope you do better. Because honestly, that inspired me to be a better father to my kids because my dad wasn't in my life. Or let me reiterate that. I know my dad. Me and my dad lived in the same city, but you ask me how many birthdays he's ever came to, I can't really tell you. I think it's zero. Um, that's why me and my dad don't have the relationship like we got. I mean, there is no relationship. My mom tried to do. I think I told you about this, but this is off the podcast. My mom tried to do the boys in the hood to me. Anybody that hasn't seen that video or that movie, y'all need to go watch that. But what she did was one summer I was acting up, and she decided to drop me off at my father's place. And my father lived in the next city over. So uh, I'm there for maybe 3 weeks. This is horrible. I'm there with him and his girlfriend. They ain't doing nothing but arguing. Am I getting paid any attention? No. I'm outside downstairs. He doesn't even know where I'm at. I go around the corner and hang out with a friend that I know. And I come back whenever I feel like it. Does he recognize that I've been gone? No, but hey, can you go up the street real quick? Ask your uncle to go get me a pack of cigarettes and then come back. Like, really? Like, I really don't care for any of that stuff, And the memory I have of him that like repeats to this day, and it's like the strongest memory, which is the most negative and worst memory, was I got in trouble at school. My mom secretly called my dad, let him know that I got in trouble because when parents, and I get this from my daughter's mom, when parents, your child that you have together get in trouble, and now it's your child because you'll get the call, but like, guess what your child did today? So they get the call. My father decided when he got that call, he was gonna come over there. Don't say nothing. I'm gonna come over there. I'm gonna talk to him and handle that. So he comes over. My mom tells me get in the tub. I'm in the tub, taking a shower. Think I'm getting ready to go eat. After I take my bath, go eat and go to bed. Whatever. Make it quick because I'm on punishment. I hear the doorbell ring, but I paid no mind. Next thing you know, while I'm in the tub, my dad kicks open the door, and my dad was a barber, and he came out and said, "Hey," looked at me like, surprise, motherfucker, like literally, and took his barber belt and beat my ass while I was in that tub. Now, you can ask anybody. I repeat the story exactly the same way every time. After I was whooped and wet and naked, I was whooped. this dude decided to throw rubbing alcohol on him. Now that's abuse, and I really resent him for it. That's why we don't have the relationship, like, you know, a bare minimum relationship. This dude's on his deathbed right now. Have I, came by to visit? Have I left Jersey left Georgia to go to Jersey? No, I haven't. But, saying, like, my girlfriend, she's like the psychologist I was telling you about, she'll be talking about, you're going to regret it. I'm like, well, I guess I'll just regret it later. But right now, I'm not feeling that kind of way. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't there. I wasn't taught the man stuff. I had to learn all the man stuff between my mother and my cousins. So a woman can't give you man advice. A woman's not going to give you the life advice that you need to grow up to be a man. They can only show you what a woman wants from a man, but they can't show you how to be a man. You get what I'm saying? So, relationships, like, even if my father was there to be a douchebag and, saying he was to take care of his responsibilities, I would have probably had a closer relationship because he showed me how to be a man and take care of what I need to do in my household. You know what I'm saying? But I know I've been talking for a minute. I do want to give shouts out to some parents right now. I would like to give shout outs to my mom personally. I love her to death. That's my number one. My daughter's mother, she is a great mom through all struggles. Even though we're not together, we still the best of friends. She does the most for my daughter. She struggles. She does her own hustle, and she makes sure my daughter's okay. My daughter's been on honor roll every school year, every semester. She's been on the dean's list. So I know while we are separated, because she lives in Florida and I'm in Georgia, when we're as far as we separate, I know that she's doing a good job. So I want to give shouts out to that, because a lot of people with their exes, they'd be like, I can say that about my first ex, but I won't say that about my second. And I like to give shouts out to actual parents that actually, are raising their kids to be good people in society. Because honestly, I hate the way things are going now. Growing up from the 80s to now, it's just got a lot worse. Always watching over my shoulder. Got to watch out, who you talk to. Especially up north, because we don't make eye contact like that. But here in Georgia, it's a completely different thing. You talk to somebody and you're like, hey, and you're like, what the fuck are you looking at me for? You know what I'm saying? What do you want? You better not be selling me no bean pie. But I like to give shouts out to those parents that actually take care of their kids, are there for them when they need them, or just being raising good people. That's why I like to thank those parents, and of course y'all parents too. But that's it. Oh, and a shout out to the parent of the guy that made Timberlands, because I had to mention him. If they weren't good parents, he wouldn't have made them shoes. And I wouldn't be everybody up north wouldn't be rocking.
All right, y'all. We gonna go on and end it here. Hopefully, we definitely got a different perspective on parenting and what parents can definitely do for their kids. We know there's no manual for raising kids and whatnot, but honestly, just try the best you can, and don't be afraid to say no to your kids, please, parents. But anyway, we will catch you guys next time. If you want to follow the podcast, you can download it on Google Play. And I should have said this at the beginning, like I said I would start doing, but I forgot. But you can download the podcast on Google Play if you have an Android phone, iTunes if you have an iPhone, Stitcher Radio if you, I don't know, I guess some people use Stitcher Radio. And eventually we will be on SoundCloud, because my man Black just made it known to me that you can indeed upload podcasts to SoundCloud. And as always, if you want to listen to the podcast first, you can watch it on the YouTube channel. There will be a video version of it. Everything is in the description. TJ the Rager. If you want to be on the podcast or ask questions, tweet me at TJ Rages. Once again, at TJ Rages. All those links in the description. I'm going to link Blue and Black's Blue and Black. I'm going to link Blue and Black's information in the description as well. And yeah, we just out. We're out. Yeah. Bye.
Laters.